I am testing out a new AI agent that has been released in the last week or so, I think. It's another Chinese one similar to Manus, if anyone has tried Manus. It's called Kimi.com. You'll see in the top left corner the name. And you get 5 free uses of it before you have to pay for anything. So this is what I asked it for. I didn't give it a particularly complicated prompt. I just said, I want to look at the last 5 years of what's happening in jobs and what's the impact of AI on those jobs and organisations. I'm interested in the comparison between Australia and the US. And I told it how I wanted to present it and said, I'm not so much looking at AI technical roles, I'm looking at the impact of AI on the other roles. So it came back and asked me a few clarifying questions and I answered them. And so now it's gone away to do it. And you can see it working as it's going. So it starts mapping it out, does some searching, said its initial searches don't have enough specific data, went and did some more, started to piece it together, but said I need deeper dives. So then it went searching for the specific things it didn't have, like salary trends, job ads, did some more searching, still said it needs more detailed comparative data, kept looking, found the Future of Jobs report, said it needs more specific Australian-US data, found the Australian Human Resource Institute report, realised that that's got some content, but realised it needs to scroll down, so it scrolled down and read the rest of that report, kept on gathering data. It's now found a PwC report. It still realises it needs more precise salary information. So it's continuing to look and off it's still digging. It's looking at, you can see on the right-hand side some of the websites that it's visited. So I'm going to pause it now and then when it's finished, I'll come back and show you what it produced. It's still in the middle of doing its work. It's been going for about 10 minutes or so. Just thought I'd pop back in and show you where it's got to. So now it's looking at really specific salary comparisons. It's finding salary data from LinkedIn. It's found out that AI related roles get paid better in the US than in Australia, which we probably know anyway. But it's still wanting to go and now find some industry specific reports and job market data because it hasn't got down to the granular detail that it wants. So we will leave it alone for half an hour or so and then come back and see how it's doing. I'll pause this now and I'll be back shortly. Just restarted again to drop back in and point out something that it's doing. It's still going, but if you look at the screen now, it's using Python, so it's actually writing some code now to do its job. So it's found some data, but it's actually writing its own code to do its task that it's decided. So it has decided, I've given it the overall brief, it's decided what tasks it needs to do, it's decided how to do them, it's decided what order to do them in, and then it's also building the tools for itself to do those tasks. Okay, I'll pause again and I'll come back a bit later. Okay, this is cool. It's looking at the difference in salary premium between the USA and Australia. So basically, if someone has AI skills on top of their other skills, what is the difference in salary? And initially it's worked out that in Australia, people get about 6% more, but in the US, they get 25% more. And it's come up with a hypothesis of why. It's digging down more into that to try and understand it. And then the further it digs, the more it questions its initial assumption. So it's reconsidering that and it's saying, okay, I'm going to go and check the source and see how solid that is and where that actually comes from. And so off it's going, it's continuing to analyse and collect data. What I think is really cool about that is that it's not just taking a bit of dumb information and putting it in and accepting it as fact. It's actually analysing and, if you like, thinking about that information and then assessing it critically to see that if it's actually valid. So it's using critical thinking as well as planning and building tools. All right, we'll leave it to it and we'll be back. Interesting, it's almost finished now. It's put together the text part of the report, which I'm just scrolling through. I've had a read of it already and it's pretty comprehensive. It's got some really interesting information in there actually. It's got a bunch of tables comparing different AI impacts between Australia and the USA and globally where they've got it. Talks about the changes in skills, talks about the impact on human resources, on admin, on marketing, on all the different departments and roles, and how AI affects each of those roles. I asked it to look at health and safety, quality insurance, training and development as well. And then it's now putting together the statistics and the visualization. So there's a bunch of data here, and then if I scroll right down, see, it's quite a comprehensive report. It's now generating, I asked for an interactive report, so it's generating an interactive report where it's actually writing its own code to do that. So I will give it a few more minutes, and then I think we'll probably come back for the last time and see the final report. And it's done. Here on the right is the actual report. So all that text and data we were looking at a second ago has been summarised now into the report. So key findings are the difference between people who can use AI and people who can't in their jobs. US, you get 25% more salary, Australia is only 6%, and globally it's 56%. There are 23,000 AI-related job postings in Australia, and so on. So, and then it goes through, summarises it, makes it much more appealing to read than that big text block we're just looking at, puts in a bit of a timeline, talks about how many layoffs there have been in the US, and each of these, this is an interactive report, and so each of these links we can click on to actually see the source and make sure they're not just making this up. So we've got something like 259 different references that it's looked at. There's some comparison, some salary comparisons, and then it goes through impact on each different function with the sources for that information that it's got. So HR, admin, marketing, customer service, talks about some of the others, and so on and so on. So I will stop this here, but if you actually want a copy of the report, I'll download it and I'm happy to share it to anyone who wants it. But really I was just doing this to test out this Kimi tool and its ability to run a series of agents to do a task. And I think what's blown me away about it is it can plan the job. As we said, it can work out the steps, it'll backtrack on itself if something goes wrong, it can critically evaluate its own output and come back and change it, and where it can't find a tool to do a task, it'll actually build its own tool, like the bit of Python code that it wrote. So yeah, pretty interesting. World is changing fast, hey?